Coming up, we'll tell you why more than 2,000 students at IU in Bloomington may have to find a new place to live.
Indiana is selected to play a critical role in developing a vaccine to prevent COVID-19. How you could possibly help make medical history.
Sometimes the decisions I'm required to make please no one. That is why it is important that I make them.
Mayor Joe Hogsett addresses the coronavirus situation in Indy. How will you feel about today's announcement concerning restrictions?
From the station working for you, this is WRTV News at 5, streaming now.
Welcome in now at 5, the growing spread of coronavirus and how to stop it. Indiana University in the COVID-19 spotlight tonight on two fronts. The impact on more than 2,000 students in Bloomington, and here in Indianapolis, IU's medical experts called to join the fight in finding a way to prevent the virus to begin with. We start in Bloomington as the university today recommended shutting down all 40 Greek houses to slow the spread of COVID-19 on campus. That is more than 2,000 people who would potentially have to find somewhere else to live. WRTV's Megan Sanctorum traveled to the Bloomington campus today to explain what is next for these students.
Leaders here at IU say they are seeing the highest COVID positivity rates at Greek houses. So now they're asking students to reevaluate their living options. Right now, 30 of the 40 Greek houses on campus are under quarantine as COVID cases continue to climb. Some houses here have a positivity rate of more than 50%. The university says with students living in such close quarters and having the amount of shared living space that they do, Greek housing is no longer a safe option. The university can only recommend their closure because they are all privately owned and managed. They're asking the national organizations that run them to close the houses or make major changes.
I think that the corporations and the national directors need to step up and think about how they are going to help the students and their families move to other settings, or really figure out how they're going to make their houses significantly safer.
I think that's really hard, especially because it's only been like the second week, so everyone's just now starting to get settled in. So to have to pick everything up and go find a place in such short notice is really hard.
I know a couple of them feel like personally attacked because it's like IU's basically going after the sorority and fraternity houses, so they feel kind of like they're under attack here, even though everyone else gets to like stay and live wherever they want to live. They are the ones being tested the most, so I know some of them feel a little like taken aback by this.
Leaders with IU say they are regularly testing students and staff and say they were able to trace cases back to Greek housing. They say at this point they are not seeing the same positivity rates in the dorms. Working for you, Megan Sanctorum, WRTV.
IU says it will work with students to help them find alternative housing. And tonight we are still waiting on a response from the IU Interfraternity Council. And right now it's all about a race for a vaccine to prevent COVID-19. And today we learned Hoosiers, along with the IU School of Medicine, will play a key role in the development and testing of one drug. Biopharmaceutical company AstraZeneca has chosen the IU School of Medicine as a testing site for its stage 3 clinical trial of a vaccine. This phase is the last required stage before the potential vaccine can be approved by the FDA for public use. Dr. Cynthia Brown is leading the portion of the study to be conducted at the School of Medicine.
This is still a trial. Some people will get the vaccine, some people will get a placebo. So we don't know if you won't know, I won't know, the nurse giving you the vaccine won't know. Nobody will know if you've received a placebo or you've received the vaccine. So the other important thing for people who are participating in this trial is to not stop the good public health measures that keep you safe.
Dr. Brown plans to enroll up to 1,500 volunteers after the site is activated the middle of this month. Participants will have to come to Indianapolis to receive 2 doses of the vaccine or a placebo plus follow-up visits. To participate, you must be over the age of 18, never had a positive COVID-19 diagnosis, and must be at increased risk for contracting COVID-19 due to your job, such as working in a school, store, warehouse, or the healthcare system. If you would like to apply, you will find a link in this story at WRTV.com. There are only 4 vaccines at this level of testing for the prevention of COVID-19 in the U.S. Indianapolis Mayor Joe Hogsett announced today that the situation in Marion County is improving enough to ease a couple of restrictions just a bit in Marion County. He said starting on Tuesday, bars and nightclubs can reopen at 25% indoor capacity and 50% outdoor capacity. This will be table seating, only with up to 6 people at a table. You must stay at your table and mask up whenever you need to move around.
The reopening of these venues will only last so long as business owners and customers take their obligations under these public health orders seriously. And I promise you that Dr. Kane and her team will go full footloose on your business if you're operating as a dance club.
Well, the mayor said all other public health orders will remain in effect without change, including the mask order, for the foreseeable future. Now to the numbers that drive the decisions by city and state leaders and educators. Today, the State Department of Health reported an additional 1,110 people have tested positive for COVID-19, the highest number in this 5-day period. Those results came in between August 20th and yesterday. The total number is nearly 97,000. The overall positivity remains at 8.8%. The state also reported an additional 4 COVID-19 deaths. They occurred between August 13th and September 1st. The statewide total is now 3,110. And as promised yesterday, the State Health Department has posted a new map on its website showing the spread of COVID-19 in each county. The colors range from blue, the lowest amount of spread, to red, the highest. Take, for example, Marion County. It's shown as yellow, the second lowest level. That's based on 91 positive cases per 100,000 tests and a 7-day positivity rate of 5.37%. This is information counties and schools may use to help guide their decisions. The color or score for each county does not trigger requirements, but are simply suggestions. The state will post this data each Wednesday at noon. The state will also soon be providing more data specifically about schools. The health department is asking school principals to designate a person to do daily reporting to the state on its COVID-19 cases. A dashboard with that school data is expected to be at the health department's website by the end of the month. The pandemic has sidelined so many local restaurants, but some have actually opened for business during these tough times. Among them, Apocalypse Burger on the city's north side. It opened in July. It's the brainstorm of Cafe Patachu owner Martha Hoover, who came up with the idea when the quarantine was in full force.
She was just kind of sitting around with her family talking about what she really wanted in this time of uncertainty, and the general consensus was just a really great burger. So this concept was kind of developed. Kind of spite snacks and revenge burgers into the world comfort food.
Sounds good to me. Like many restaurants, Apocalypse Burger is focusing on a different sort of business model, one that emphasizes food-driven service like carry-out instead of people-driven service that's a part of the dine-in experience. We have a list of other new restaurants that just opened in central Indiana. Find them when you click on this story at WRTV.com. Kevin, you thinking about dinner yet?
I'm always thinking about food, whether that's dinner, lunch, whenever it happens to be. Hey, sneaky warm today. I guess that's how I would describe it. We've had lots of sunshine, the humidity's up, and our temperature made it all the way to 87 degrees. We're at 86 right now, 85 as you can see up in Kokomo. Temperatures will change very little in the short term. See the little band of clouds from South Bend to Chicago, then back to Springfield, Illinois. Those are ahead of a cold front that will drop to the south and east. That may squeeze out an isolated shower this evening. It is breezy. The wind is out of the west. When the wind comes out of the northwest, the front will have moved through, and that'll open the door to cooler, more comfortable temperatures. There's the timeline. As this slides to the south and east, could have a brief shower, quickly move through right along the frontal boundary. Once that moves through, we'll talk about why. Any adjective you could pick for tomorrow would work, as long as it's about being spectacular, awesome, and comfortable. Tomorrow's going to be a great day. We'll have the weekend forecast as well.
We have breaking news. Metro Police are asking for help finding an 11-year-old girl who is believed to be behind the wheel of her mother's vehicle. With her is her 4-year-old brother along for that dangerous ride. Investigators say the kids were last seen today on South Harlan Street near Keystone between Troy and Raymond on the southeast side. They may be headed to Cloverdale, according to police. The vehicle is a 2005 black 4-door Chevy Equinox. If you see these kids, call 911. And as the economy tries to bounce back, unemployment is still a major problem for thousands of Hoosiers. Here are the latest numbers from the Labor Department out today. First-time claims for regular unemployment rose slightly last week to 10,783. But the government also says that more than 7,600 Hoosiers filed for pandemic unemployment assistance. Those benefits are for people such as self-employed workers and independent contractors who are not eligible for regular unemployment. The Labor Department says another 7,000 Hoosiers filed for pandemic emergency unemployment. That's extra money available for some workers who have already used up their regular unemployment benefits. We haven't seen this in a while. Stocks fell sharply on Wall Street today as high-flying technology companies took a tumble after months of spectacular gains. The benchmark S&P 500 lost more than 3%, its biggest loss since June, and the tech-heavy Nasdaq fell 5%. Both indexes set record highs yesterday. Apple, the most valuable U.S. company, dropped 8%. The Dow was off as much as 1,000 points today. It closed down more than 800 points. Now to Democracy 2020 and the race for president. Just days after President Trump visited Kenosha, Wisconsin to offer his support to local law enforcement and business owners, Democratic nominee Joe Biden traveled there today, saying he planned to bring people together following the unrest after a black man was shot multiple times by police. ABC's Faith Abi has the latest.
The words of a president matter. No matter if they're good, bad, or indifferent, they matter.
Former Vice President Joe Biden arriving in Kenosha, Wisconsin, just as tensions in the city streets begin to quell. Several peaceful nights causing the mayor to lift a curfew, which had been in place since a white police officer shot Jacob Blake, a 29-year-old African-American man, in the back 7 times. Biden and his wife Jill meeting privately with Blake's relatives days after President Donald Trump visited the city and met with law enforcement and business owners, but not with Blake's family.
Actually, we must give far greater support to our law enforcement. It's all about giving them additional support. These are great people.
Ahead of Biden's visit, the president threatening to take federal dollars away from several Democrat-led cities. But the threat appears empty, as legally, only Congress can authorize and direct federal spending, not the White House. The president on Twitter calling Portland, D.C., New York, and Seattle lawless zones with weak mayors who allow anarchists to ruin lives, a reference to the recent protest against police brutality. If the president does carry out his threat, it would result in a cut in funding for police officers and in the fight against COVID-19.
And if the states will not act in their police power and secure their streets, this president will use every lawful mechanism available to him to try to supplement their failures.
The move is the president's latest attempt to cast himself as a law and order candidate, as polls show his Democratic rival Joe Biden leading him nationally and in several battleground states. Biden releasing a new ad on racial injustice and policing while in Kenosha. On CNN, Attorney General William Barr making unproven allegations against Blake.
In the Jacob case, he was in the midst of committing a felony and he was armed.
As the streets remain calm in Kenosha, protests erupted overnight in D.C. after another police-involved shooting of a young black man. Both Biden and the president are in battleground states today. Biden in Wisconsin, while Trump stops in Pennsylvania. In Washington, Faith Abube, ABC News.
Still ahead on WRTV, it's the biggest phishing scam in years, targeting millions of Netflix customers and leading some of them to fall for it. Why this one looks so real, coming up. It may only be September, but we have an early look at what could be the toys that find their way to the top of your child's Christmas list. Welcome back. If you subscribe to Netflix, you need to know about a slick scam targeting millions of people this month. It appears to be an alert from the streaming service. Consumer reporter John Matarese shows us why it's so easy to fall for, so you don't waste your money.
Netflix has helped so many of us get through the pandemic with great shows to binge watch instead of going to bars. That's why you might perk up if Netflix says there's a problem with your account. Netflix has been a lifeline during our long COVID staycation. Ozark, The Crown, Michael Jordan's Last Dance, Sherlock, Stranger Things, The Twilight Zone, and more. But you might think you are in a real-life Rod Serling episode if you fall for one of the slickest phishing scams in recent years. The latest, a Netflix email saying notice of verification failure, alerting you to a problem with your billing credit card. It asks you to update the card or your account will be canceled. People who've clicked through end up on a CAPTCHA page, which looks very legitimate. But stop right there, it's all a scam. And from the Doesn't That Stink file, why you won't even know you fell for a scam. Forbes magazine says once you re-enter your credit card number, you are redirected to Netflix's real page. Everything is fine until your credit card is soon hacked, and that stinks. Remember, an email from a company you do business with should include your name or account number and not just say, "Dear customer," that we don't waste your money. I'm John Matarese, WRTV.
While many people have turned to Netflix to keep entertained during the pandemic, it turns out many others have turned to Legos to stay busy. The toy maker says sales soared 14% the first half of this year compared to the same time last year. Lego's operating profit also rose 11%. The success of Lego comes as most toy companies see their sales decline due to manufacturing and delivery delays due to the pandemic. But speaking of toy sales, there's always Christmas that could turn things around. Walmart is out with their insight info into what they believe will top kids' lists this year. Today, the retail giant released 2020's hottest holiday toys. The Paw Patrol Dino Patroller, the Jetson Plasma Hoverboard, and a Bop It game with a Baby Yoda theme are all expected to be popular items. The top toys are tested and selected by kids. Walmart merchandising experts believe this year's pick shows kids are choosing different toys due to the pandemic. And Kevin, I am really thinking that hoverboard is pretty cool, but it's crazy to even think about Christmas shopping when it's still this hot out.
Yeah, we hit, well, it's 88 in Lafayette, so you can always think about Christmas and the holidays. We've got a holiday Monday, Labor Day. Okay, temperatures with the wind feel a little better. We've got a west wind at 20 in Indy, lots of sunshine. It's just the high, thin clouds that are streaming in out ahead of a cold front, which may generate an isolated shower. Won't give up on it until the front goes through. Then we're probably dry until early next week. You just see the little ribbon of clouds northwest of central Indiana. This is a short-term model. Wants to blow up a few showers, maybe a quick downpour. We certainly have the humidity around. We've got the warm temperatures. We'll just see if we can squeeze some moisture out of this as the front drops southeast. There we are, 9 o'clock by 11 o'clock south and east of the metro area. The wind will shift, come out of the northwest, and that will start to drop the temperature by the time we get to 10 o'clock tonight. Mid-70s, but the humidity will be dropping as well. That is a key factor as to why Friday will be a fabulous day. We start in the 50s. You can't beat that. 2 mornings in a row. Tomorrow and then Saturday morning will be cooler on average in the 50s. That's a great way to start the day, and we only warm into the 70s, about 77 for the afternoon high. Hourly forecast shows how we'll make that progression during the day tomorrow. It won't be as windy. and the humidity very low and absolute sunshine. It's the wind direction that plays the key role. That will continue out of the north, northwest, 5 to 10 miles per hour with some higher gusts. As you look at the weekend, last weekend for public pools, I usually try to go to the neighborhood pool where my in-laws live and do a flip. I do that once a year. I'll try and do that this weekend, and I'll report back to you on how that goes. Temperatures in the low 80s. I'll say this, I leave my shirt on when I go off the diving board to do that flip in case I smack. It doesn't hurt as much. As you look at the temperatures during the day, Saturday, 82 will be the high temperature. Remember I said we'll have a brief but noticeable break from warmer temperatures in the humidity? Look how quickly the temperatures rise. Monday, Labor Day, slight chance that we'll see thunderstorms Sunday and Tuesday, but temperature up to 86 on Labor Day, 87 Tuesday. Signs that we cool back down, though, as you can see. By Thursday of next week, with highs back into the 70s. These next couple mornings will be especially comfortable. I hear music. That means we'll be back right after this.
How's this for something pretty amazing? Honeybees may help scientists one day win the battle against breast cancer. Doctors in Australia found that doses of venom from the stingers of certain honeybees killed breast cancer cells. One of the compounds found in the venom also destroys a breast cancer cell's ability to grow and spread. The study also found the bee venom caused little harm to normal cells. Doctors warn there are 20,000 species of bees, and not all of them can fight cancer. They say the hope is to find the right dose to use in current medications. During this pandemic, families are having to make difficult choices when it comes to their kids' education. All new at 6, we'll show you the steps one family took, why they pulled their child from his school. And still ahead on the news at 5:30, the Headless Horseman rides again, where you can find this incredible corn maze and the frightful opportunity that awaits those who are really brave.